Yeah, just, excited for the week. It's another opportunity. We were disappointed at Mississippi State, but I was really proud of, the position that this team has put themselves in has not changed. And 5 out of the last 6 before Sunday. And, we obviously have played well on the road up until that point. So we're going to try to get back to work today and, see if we can go to Florida. It's just really important that we go down there and play really good basketball to give ourselves a chance on the road.
Right, let's start with Maxwell listener.
Yeah, what is there a certain message you're giving the team after Sunday's loss, just to kind of rebound, knowing the next 2 games are obviously they're all important, but they're very important just to close out the regular season on a strong note?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is, to flush that the other night. We always talk about hitting the reset button, and just, Florida is all that matters right now. It's not about Sunday. It's not about anything but just the next game. And that's kind of the mentality we've taken all year and been pretty successful with it. So it's about, focusing on what we need to do to put ourselves in a position to go to Gainesville and play well.
Mason.
Coach, obviously you talked about the interior not being able to score last game. Jada Ross actually scores for the first time all season. What have you worked on? What have you seen today that you guys worked on just to improve the interior scoring for next game?
Yeah, at this point in time in the year, obviously they had a day off yesterday. We go at 4 today because we have a class conflict that every Tuesday we've gone at 4. So it's more just about, I think it's the time of year when players play. There's not a lot of coaching. There's not a lot of, things that you can control right now. It's your effort, it's your energy, and it's time to play. And I think on the road, especially, our kids have done a good job with that. I think it's interesting if you go look at our home statistics compared to our away statistics. We need some of those folks that are at home to really carry it on the road. We've got to play better at the 4 and the 5 spot. Obviously, have a Purdue transfer in Kyle, who is our second leading scorer. Faith Duke's really good. We've got our hands full in the interior, and I think it's going to come down to, who can play the best on the interior on both sides of the ball.
Will.
Coach, as the regular season winds down, do you think that your team has improved at kind of adjusting after things don't go their way, like last game, throughout the year?
Yeah, obviously, we had a great bounce back game at Arkansas. We talk a lot about the bounce back. It's about the response. That's why we talk at midnight, good or bad, happy or sad. You just got to try to have the next day, just go back to work mentality. So I love who this team is. I know our staff has worked relentlessly since the other night. I know I just drove in from the road game that I went to at 9 and left at 6, and then we were on the road. I was on the road all day yesterday at high school playoff games. We're just working. I've spent a lot of time on film. We're prepared for Florida before it was time to be prepared. So I think it's the time of year again where you just have to put everything that's happened, regardless. I think our team's in a really good position. We just have to focus on the next game like we've always done.
Maxwell.
Obviously, you guys, I think it's 5 out of 7 in the SEC on the road you've won going into this game. Does that give you any consolation knowing that you've played really well on the road so far this year, when you need to get, you want to reverse some of the trends from Sunday?
I think the thing is, we felt like, I've said this before, our preseason schedule going on the road the way that we did. We have a net right now of 23, even after Sunday. What this team has done on the road certainly has helped us in SEC play. I think the way your home schedule fell this year, it was pretty clear that we had to go on the road, and we knew that going into the season, and become a really good road team. And that's the difference. Those are separators in the SEC who can go on the road and win. And we've put ourselves in a position here down the stretch. Obviously we feel like we're in the NCAA tournament, but that's not enough. And we want to put ourselves in the best possible position for seeding for the SEC tourney and for the NCAA tourney. And, it matters how we finish, and we're going to do our very best. I'm just a big believer in focusing on the positive. The negativity and what hadn't happened or what went wrong Sunday. Hey, listen, nobody woke up Sunday trying to have that happen. We're just focusing on the positive, and we have a lot of positives to look forward to, I feel like.
Right, Mason.
Coach, only 3 players in program history ever had 60 blocks in the season. Jada Rice is only 1 block away from joining that group. Just how proud are you in terms of her success on the defensive end as she's been in Alabama?
Yeah, she's really improved our rim protection. There's no question about it, and we're definitely going to have that. We're playing really good guard tandem in KK Deans and Nina Ricards. So, the ability to really step up and protect the paint, Mississippi State definitely outscored us in the paint the other day. We've got to do a better job on the perimeter of keeping the ball in front, and when we don't, Jada's really given us a great rim protector, and that's important.
Coach, I know nothing's set in stone yet with a couple of conference games left, but can you talk for a moment about how important that double bye would be if you were to get that in the SEC tournament?
Well, I think I think a lot of people may not want to talk about, what that can do for you, but I think anybody that's a competitor and a player and a coach knows you'd much rather have a double bye than not, just because it gives you an opportunity, to be well rested. You reach that level, and, it's really hard to play back to back to back, and anytime you can put yourself in a position, it definitely would be huge for us. But if that doesn't happen, we're excited to not be playing on the first day, so there's so many positives.
Yeah, talk about this at the time of year that you need to let your players play. Obviously, you had a lot of veterans come back, but even a lot of the newcomers were, starters at their old schools. Is that a benefit? How much is that a benefit when you need your players just to go make plays at this point of the year?
Yeah, I think it's a benefit. Anytime you have a chance to compete, in a program that has had success, and I think all of our transfers have had a lot of success where they've been and played in really good leagues. The competition, I think they all understand, the sense of urgency that you have to have. I think it's different. I think the portal has changed our game. I mean, when you look at Florida's 2 leading scorers are portal players, KK Deans and Rashana Kyle. So it's a little bit different, I think, when you have an experience compared to being a true freshman. And obviously Carly's played at a really high level and has done a really good job for us, but it makes a big difference when you bring experience this time of year and being in a position to bring it from other leagues, Power 5, it helps.
Right, nice one.
And on that, you had a lot of players who had NCAA tournament experience and know how hard this final kind of push is. Obviously, you had some from your own team, but bringing in players like Sarah Ashley Barker, who had at Georgia, is that just another added benefit because it can help some of those players? I know Aaliyah hasn't been there, Carly hasn't been there.
Yeah, I think it definitely can help. I think the biggest thing right now too is just the tournament experience of a conference tournament compared to, I think you look at, the experience that Aaliyah probably had with the Big Ten tournament, and you look at what Sarah Ashley had at Georgia, and, obviously a year ago we were fortunate, to go get Georgia. So, I mean, we've been in position before where it hasn't gone well. So I think you have a lot of experiences that you can draw from. It should give you an advantage. It should give you a leg up. Hopefully our players will use this to their advantage. And I know certainly the way we approach it, we had season 1 in the preseason, season 2 with the conference season, and it's a brand new season. You're going to see, stories across this country with just a conference tournament experience that, they get to do something special. So I think that's how we'll approach it. The most important thing, though, is just Florida right now and focusing on how we can go to Gainesville and play well.
Mason.
Coach, obviously your offense, especially perimeter shooting, get really, really hot, and in some games it can be really inconsistent. What is the key to making sure the perimeter shooting remains consistent? You just have less lulls and more just good or great games.
Yeah, I mean, just telling them to keep shooting the ball. Take the first open shot. I mean, I think that our players understand they all have a green light. You hope that on Sunday was a little bit of an anomaly, and then you credit Mississippi State too. I mean, I thought they hit some great shots and, some end of the shot clock plays, which was crazy. They shot it better than we did. When you go back and look at our analytics, and we use it a lot, if we make, enough of those, we put ourselves in a position to win there. So I just, I think the way our kids have played 5 out of the last 6 games before Sunday was phenomenal, and I'm just going to tell them to keep shooting it. No hesitation.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all for coming. Roll